Hey folks, it's 9/12, September 12th, and 9/11 was a sorry event, but if you look at what's happening in Connecticut, they are falling apart, okay? There's an article today that you have to read. Let's highlight it. So here's a list of the articles I'd like to highlight. There's only one on here that is absolutely necessary, so here it is. I'll bring it up. And I want you to follow along because it's important. A year ago, when Lamont took over, he took over the state pier in New London from a private individual and forced him to evacuate, leave the premises. So the guy sold salt across the state to truckers that salted the roads. And everything ran smoothly until he took that over, because after Lamont took it over, he had to wait 24 hours in a line of trucks to buy salt from one destination. Now, this is the pier here in the picture. And the fact remains, when you learn about this, you should be angry. Here's using new powers granted by the lawmakers, the State Contract Board will ask Connecticut Port Authority for unredacted copies of contracts. Oh yes, they should. The board sent information it gathered to the Office of the Attorney General, who will say nothing because of... but he is admitting there is suspected collusion on a public relations contract of the Port Authority signed with Dealey Mailer. Well, a hedge fund took the salt that the old contract holder owned, jacked the price up to local municipalities who had to pass it on to their local municipalities, all the people who pay the bills in those towns. So, if you want salt in Connecticut, you're forced to buy it here. Read this statement. I'm hoping and assuming, frankly, that we're going to have the cooperation of the Port Authority on this. Well, the SEC doesn't cooperate. The Claims Commissioner does not cooperate. All the state agencies do not cooperate with Freedom of Information. So, the authority sent a timeline outlining the suspected collusion based on documents. Collusion based on documents that were made public as a response to Freedom of Information. I have 23 outstanding Freedom of Information requests that are 2 years old. I have other ones that are not 2 years old. So what happens is they don't answer, okay? You file court documents, they don't assign a judge. You file fee waivers, they deny the fee waiver, though you qualify. When you look at what's happening in the court system, there's prosecutorial misconduct, there's judicial misconduct, and legislative misconduct, adding up to a cluster F. You understand what I'm saying? Cluster F? Okay, so let's get back to the articles and comment. I have about 20 articles related to this that we spoke about 12 months ago and 8 months ago, basically when they took the properties over by eminent domain, pretty much. Then they said that we're going to do wind facilities, or wind electricity generation, but that doesn't break even, ever. So it's putting money into a Ponzi scheme where people who are connected with the project make money on the taxpayer and there's no benefit, okay? So when you go through the article, let's keep going. Board Chair Larry Fox explained he would focus now on the state pier, given concerns that the project that drove lawmakers to grant the board investigatory powers. Our intention is to understand what's going on with procurement, okay? Here we go. Read all these paragraphs. I'm hoping and assuming, frankly, that we're going to have cooperation of the port. Okay, watch. They want this mayor contract Dealey Mayer contract. They want the Halloran and Sage contracts. We don't have them. It's ridiculous. They're a lobbyist firm for the DNC in Connecticut. Here, the authority sent a timeline outlining the suspected collusion based on documents made. The timeline highlights how the Port Authority then Executive Director Evan Matthews discussed the request for proposals with Dealey Mayer. Lauren Mailer. Who? Okay. Read every paragraph. Every paragraph is damning. Quay said that the Attorney General's office would not discuss the ongoing investigation. Of course, just like Norwalk, 35-year-old murder investigation. They wouldn't discuss the Cummings investigation where he was a cop that was a pedophile. They won't discuss the Greenwich Global money laundering scandal. It's worth $100 million that the city of Norwalk is covering up. So keep going on. The State Contract Standards Board investigation comes as a part of the wave of scrutiny by state lawmakers into quasi-public Connecticut Port Authority. Who's on that panel? Travis Sims. Oh, serial assaulter. His daughter assaults people. His brother assaults people. Why is he state rep? Because Duff rigged it. Oh, come on. Challenge me. Sue me. I got what I need. That's why I say what I say. Here, when the State Board Commission approved another $55 million in the funding project, the cost estimates for the project rose from an early estimate of $93 million to $235 million. Guess what? That pier is a Superfund cleanup site. Yes, it has never been cleaned up. It's never been cleaned up. It's poisoning the sound, poisoning the lobster industry, poisoning the oyster industry, and our food source, fish. So here, the authority is still waiting a permit from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. So is the Walk Bridge, $1.3 billion bridge in Norwalk that covers, you ready? Covers a contaminated cell underwater of hazardous waste, including heavy metals, arsenic, chromium, lead, all kinds of crap. And next to it is Veterans Park public dock that was dredged, and the dredging material tested so toxic no state would take it, so the state put it back in the river just west of the Norwalk oyster beds, where all the dredging material of New York and Connecticut for most harbors, 600 municipalities dump, where you're buying the oysters and you're eating them. This weekend is the Oyster Festival. I wouldn't eat an oyster if you paid me. It's a mollusk that collects the debris in the water, and it collects the plastic particles that the PCBs connect to. When you eat an oyster, you're probably eating PCBs, folks. So let's move on. Read the article. Here we go. Go. Here. When you look at who's in charge of this, it's Perone. All this other crap doesn't matter, okay? State Rep Holly Cheeseman, Republican East Lyme, who's a member of the State Board Commission, said she was assured that Eversource were committed to the project and would not be pulling any funds from the project. But Cheeseman said she's concerned about the potential cost overruns. No doubt, estimating at $93 million and coming in at $235 and asking for $55 million more. This is what happens. This is criminal. Look, continue reading, because there's 25 articles connected to this that you should read, and what it actually comes down to is the total incompetence of our General Assembly. My rep. Why was anyone voting for Travis Sims on the Transportation Committee? He's got a history of assaults. His daughter has a history of assaults. The Sikh is covering up his daughter's history of assaults. His brother assaults. The family that assaults is on this commission, and now they're under scrutiny, so to speak, for A, conflict of interest, no doubt, collusion, conspiracy, racketeering. That's RICO. I must say, it's hard to describe what's going on here, but why would you force someone to sell you their property, then steal their inventory, give it to your own hedge fund, mark it up to increase the cost of salt to people who need to salt the roads when there's a snowstorm? I'll tell you, this is a huge mistake. It's one of many. You want to hear the other 5 I'm tracking? It's a disaster, folks. And the people of Connecticut just go along with it. You need to fix what's going on. Dominic Rapini's running for Secretary of State, and he's pointing out all the different types of voting fraud. If 40% of New Haven voted and 45% of Hartford voted, how did 90% of Bridgeport vote? It's impossible, folks. And voter fraud is the reason why the Democrats are getting away with money laundering. It's key. It cost $93 million to buy this pier. They're at $235 and they want $55 more. Hold on a second. That's your money. If you want to fix this problem, I'll tell you how to do it. You ready? Are you listening? Vote for Mike France. Vote for Larry Laser. Vote for whoever is running. George Logan. Straight up honest guy. Whoever's going to run against Himes, I hope it's Lamont, because if he tries to come after Johnny on the Blumenthal thing, he's never going to beat Blumenthal. I got the keys to the kingdom on that. Believe me. Okay? Believe me. I got nothing to lose. I'm all in. Here we go, folks. We need to figure out how Lamont has screwed up worse than the governor of New York, and take him to court. Why is his wife managing state pension money from an offshore account that's non-reporting? I'll tell you why. Because they're skimming money off the top. Have a great day. I hope you follow this, because very few are. I'm at 13 minutes. I want to thank you very much. Win with Flynn. Go to WinRed. Send me $10, and we got this. Thank you very much. The best investment that you could possibly make is sending me $10. And you should call all your friends and have them do it too, because I got a file that would choke a horse or a donkey, whichever it might be. Have a great day. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.